Welcome in. It is the ATB show at the buzzer. Adamless, Timmy, and Billy, and also Uncle Dukes is on assignment. So Adam and Uncle Dukes not joining us tonight. Rubber Shoes live from the LA studios. That is the Lowell area. And I'm in beautiful downtown New Hampshire. We've got to talk about, we got some liner notes from Adam. We are going to talk about the WNBA. Damn it. We're going to talk about
all you.
What's that?
It's all you.
I'm going to read what he sent us. So we cannot go off script. He will not be upset. He's going to love it. And the other challenge was the Ryder Cup, which was over before she started. And obviously Tim Wakefield, probably the most heart-wrenching news that any of us have heard in a long time. That was gut-wrenching. Coming on the heel, we'll get into it. But yeah, Wake, one of the absolute greatest. We just saw him. I know Janina popped up some pictures. We just saw him in June at a golf event we knew he was going to be at and Flutie was going to be at. So it was a great event, and we went up and watched them play, and he looked fine. So, pancreatic cancer, brain cancer, any of them for that matter can sneak up on you quick. They clearly did, which is horrifying. Equally disappointing as the Ryder Cup is the performance yesterday from the Patriots. And we've got some exciting news about the Celtics. Farewell to the Red Sox, which they don't even deserve our time. I think the Red Sox segment is Wakefield time. I think we talk about Wake. And then, of course, the Bruins are getting ready to start, thank God, because we need something with some excitement. And hockey is so much fun to watch. Looking forward to that because the Red Sox, even with the pitch clock and the expedition of the gameplay, the Red Sox were still a tough watch. And they're your favorite local team. I know you can't even fight me on that. We are brought to you by our dear friends at AAA Work Trucks. So Rubber Shoes, let them know where they can track you down. Are you shirtless on the side of the truck yet? Are we going to have a summer skew of Rubber Shoes, no shirt? Like the Village People version of the truck? No, why not? Why wouldn't you do that?
No.
Can we say Village People anymore? I just did, so maybe we're going to be canceled before we start. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's brought to you by AAA Work Trucks, your one-stop shop for all your work truck needs. If it goes in or on a vehicle, it's a good bet AAA can take care of for you. Give them a call at 866-783-6222 or check them out online at aaaworktrucks.com.
Did you just get a little thumb on my screen? Did you see that pop up? Hold on. I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Oh. Are you seeing it?
Yeah, I do.
Wait a second.
When I look at my computer.
I know. Stay with me, though. I'm going to give you one more thing. Watch your monitor right now. Watch this. Is that happening?
Balloons? Yeah.
So, okay. My understanding was this was like a Zoom thing.
Yeah.
We're on eCam right now. So, I don't know what's taking. Maybe this is a Logitech thing. Is this happen? I don't know what. I have my Zoom up in the background. I'm shutting all the way out of that. I'm so confused right now. Okay, I don't know why that's happening. So now when I do hand gestures, apparently we're going to get some cartoons and stuff because I don't know how to run my computer anymore. Anyway, what do you want to kick off with? Do we want to talk about Ryder Cup? Like, what disappointing sporting event from the weekend do we want to start talking about first? I prefer we eat our vegetables and work towards dessert.
So you say disappointing. Well, first of all, with the Ryder Cup, I'll just go through all of them, and then you can pick which one to stay. Ryder Cup, I really had trouble rooting for some of the Americans, so I was actually not. I was just watching the good play, and Rory's my favorite player, so I was actually not mad that the Europeans won it, like Victor Hovland. I think it's tougher to be. Us against the world when, a lot of these players from Europe are the top players in the PGA, and you see them every week and you really get to know them. So I kind of liked, especially because one of the captain's pick was Brooke Koepka, which I can't stand. So I would have rather had them have Keegan Bradley on there than Brooks Koepka. But so I wasn't disappointed. I was just enjoying it. I thought it was really good. With the Patriots, I'm 4-0 with my predictions. So the way the season's gone is the way that I've seen it. So I'm sitting there just not it's what I'm expecting. So I'm not disappointed because they're doing what I thought they were going to do. So I'm not and they're going to be in some trouble coming up here with the injuries on defense.
Yeah. Yep.
Red Sox were disappointing, but I'm looking forward to the off season. You know, I know there are rumors. There's been a lot of rumors the last few weeks about, talk with the Red Sox and Ohtani and also Mike Trout. So that's something to keep our eyes and ears open to during the off season, and who they're going to pick for a new general manager or however, whatever title they end up giving the person that takes over for Chaim Bloom.
Yep.
So those three things, I'm not really. Is it disappointing that you're going into a football season not looking to contend for a Super Bowl? Yes, but we were really spoiled for a long time.
Agreed.
So it's kind of I can sit and watch and not really. I know Scotty Dukes really gets fired up still. I really don't, because we had it so good for so long, and it's kind of they've been what I thought they were going to be so far.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I go back to the Ryder Cup real quick. The fact that it was over before it started, like I think most golf fans were maybe sneaking a peek from their office or watching on their phone or whatever. The 04 start on Friday let the air out of the tires, and that's a pun for just you and me. And maybe I'll tell the story about what happened to my car on the way into work today, and that'll make more sense. That let the air out of the tires almost immediately. And then Saturday was climbing back in a little bit, and they made such a great run on Sunday. What was troubling, and I appreciate it's going to be completely different when they get to Bethpage Black, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, we're going to do ATB live, right?
So Janina's so funny. Anytime they announce all the majors, they're always just like, they'll go to a commercial break. They're like, tickets available for $20.35.
Yeah.
And she gets all excited. She's like, everything's banged out. I'm like, of course it is. We have to like know somebody. So we have to scrape our way in, and then you
get press credentials.
Yeah, we have to get press credentials. Yes, yeah. And then above and beyond that, you have to solidify your hotel and all that kind of stuff. Would I love to go 4,000%? Because I wasn't thinking when I looked online just as I was looking ahead to dates. I'm like, where is it in 25? I'm like, oh, it's Farmingdale, New York. But I wasn't connecting the dots. I'm like, oh, that's Bethpage Black. So that's going to be amazing. What makes it a tough watch, and I appreciate we're on their soil, was when you heard the cheer, you knew it wasn't like watching the Red Sox on the West Coast, right?
Right.
You hear the cheer when the Red Sox are traveling, and you're like, oh, that could be the Red Sox doing something really good, or maybe the home team did something amazing. You heard the cheer, you knew either, and God bless him, Victor Hovland drained another 89-footer, or we missed. Like the cheers were almost louder when we effed up as opposed to when they did something well. And I love the back and forth, the Joe LaCava thing with the hat and the infighting between him and Rory. And I love Rory too. And that's what I said to you guys in the chat over the weekend. I love the European kids because I think all the golfers right now are so fun to watch, most of them. And I also wanted them to lose. And knowing it had been 30 years since we stole it on their soil, but just it was. I was playing Sunday morning. We were playing golf Sunday morning, and I had it on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio. We're listening. We're pulling up the tee boxes. The group in front's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "They only need one more win." And then I got to, and I know people that know golf and know the Ryder Cup and all that stuff better than I do. Would be like, it wasn't really a mistake, but for Ricky Fowler not to force them to putt. And I know at a certain distance inside the leather, you concede and you let them pick up. When we're riding on anything they screw up at this point and we need everything to go our way, you force them to putt.
See,
and you're going to get booed either way.
I feel like Scheffler and Rahm, before they went out, said, we're putting everything out. It seemed like a few matches they were even when they were like 3-footers, they were making them putt them out. So
Yep.
if I was the U.S., if I was on the U.S. team before Sunday, I would tell the other guy, I'm gonna do it too.
Yep.
You're putting everything
Yeah,
out.
we're
We
putting
need
out.
every
Yep.
every stroke we can get. So you're putting everything out. If you make me putt everything out, I understand.
Yep.
But that like let them know ahead of time
Agreed.
instead
Yeah.
of. But that's
Yeah.
I tell you, so between watching the Ryder Cup, watching uh, wrestling when it goes over to Europe, and watching football, soccer, the European crowd is phenomenal.
Yep.
I love the European crowd in anything I watch. They get so into it. They sing the songs. You know, I just love it. I know like the
When
waste management gets a little crazy, but it's
No,
nothing like the
they were
Europeans.
phenomenal. They were phenomenal. The way they built the stanchions and the way they just went up and like there's some NFL stadiums that almost envelop the field, and they used to call them the bleacher creatures at the old Garden. If
Yep.
you were up in that first balcony, the Panasonic balcony, as we all remember it as kids,
Yep.
you felt like you were hanging over the ice or over the parquet, and they created that atmosphere. I thought the funniest thing they did, I don't know if you heard it or not, they were really good at like chanting them out when they knew they were coming out of the tunnel, because they would go into the tunnel and walk out of one green and into the next thing, because they had tee box and green had stanchions, most of the important ones. And when they were doing the Cranberries, right? And did you hear them singing the Cranberries? And it was basically they were singing Rory, Rory, in your head. They was basically singing to the Americans, Rory's in your head.
Yeah.
After he picked the fight on 18 on Saturday. There was just some really brilliant stuff. The Patrick the Patrick story about his hat and that it didn't fit.
Yeah.
I appreciate he didn't want to wear the hat. I don't necessarily believe that he showed up and he was shocked he wasn't being paid to play for America. I can see me fighting that how I know how you are, and you know how I am with hats. If I hated the hat, I probably would have still worn it because I love wearing hats when I golf. And can't lay with the it didn't fit. That was sad. I don't necessarily think that it was a true story that he was fighting it because he wasn't getting paid for it. When he's golfing as a sponsored athlete, he wears Goldman Sachs, I believe, right?
Yeah.
He's a Goldman Sachs kid on the hat, I'm pretty sure. So that ran like wildfire, and that just added to the fodder. And I truly believe, you heard Zach talking about the fact that there was some sort of a case of the sniffles going through the clubhouse. I get it, and man up. Like, we don't get this for 2 more years, and we don't get to go back to Europe and maybe try to get this straightened out for 4 more years. So that was annoying. And I do believe, I think it showed up. There were some pictures that you could not necessarily Photoshop, but pick your spot and pull some photos out of context. But there were some pictures where the European kids had their arms around each other, and like the Americans were just standing there, and there was just a little bit less of a connection. I don't know if they created the brotherhood, and I don't necessarily think that it was a divided clubhouse either. I think some of that's bullshittery, but I don't think they were as connected. I think a bunch of individual golfers got together in Europe and formed a team, and I think the U.S. kids formed a group.
Yes, and that's the thing, is that their problem is especially over there, they've had trouble coming out on the team play the first 2 days, and they got to figure out a way how to, like, it's not necessarily it's not really team play, but for some reason they're not playing off each other very well.
Yep.
When they're playing the team, because it's not like, we need both the alternate shot is definitely both guys, but then the 4-ball is still individual. You're just playing with someone else. Basically, it's if someone screws up, they put a little pressure on you that, okay, I got to hit a good shot. Kind of like if you're the 4th guy in a scramble, all 3 shots go in the woods. You got to hit a good shot,
Yeah, I'm unfortunately that 4th guy in a scramble. Our new medicine ball in a scramble is because I'm historically short with my driver.
Yeah.
If I know the other three guys are super long, I'm like, I'm not even going to hit. Like we played in 2 tournaments last week, and on Monday and Tuesday of last week, and I'm like, I'll go fourth if I have to out of the tee box.
See, that's weird because when I play a scramble, I do it the opposite way. I would have you hit a safe shot first out there
Sure, I got
that
you.
we know we're good, and then the other 3 guys, if they're can bomb it, just go for it, and you know that you have a safe shot already. That's how I've always played. We always put the guy who can crush it the most at anchor, so that way you
Clean
get
up.
3
Sure.
guys
No,
a chance to get
and that's what
where
we've
he could
normally
just
done.
try and bomb it.
That's what we've normally done. It just got to a point. I'm just like, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, we've never used my save shot. I mean, randomly here and there, we've used my save shot. But
That's a good thing, though.
yeah, yes,
But at least, but they've been able to just not worry, just
yes,
go
we get
for it,
something out there.
try and
Yes,
kill it.
yeah, we get
Yeah.
something out there. Yes, that's pretty funny. Yeah, so that was I just love that event, and it was just Scotty said it, like the Europeans are probably going to take it. They've got a great group, and it's on their soil, and they tailor made Marco Simone to play to their strengths with drivable par 4s and all that kind of stuff. It's just
I mean,
aggravating.
so
to be
I know,
closer.
like Scotty Scheffler is he's number 1 in the world, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah,
it's like he just kind of plays and just kind of he's there in the. I know he did win. Did he win the Masters this year, or was that a year ago?
Scheffler was
he
a
win
year
it?
ago. A year ago.
So it wasn't this year. So he
Wasn't it a
didn't
year
win
ago?
any majors this year, right?
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, no, that's because did Harmon win the Masters? Because it was Harmon, Clark.
Harmon, yes. Wyndham Clark was the PGA. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like he's number 1 just because I think he's consistently good and hangs around there, but doesn't really. You don't feel like he's Tiger Woods, or Rory. Rory, you know when he's out there playing, and like Scheffler just seems to like be there in the background to me.
Yep. I'll hold it.
And then it was.
I'm looking now, unless I'm looking at something wrong. This past year, Rahm won it.
Oh,
Rahm won
yeah.
it. Yeah, Rahm won it. Yeah.
Rahm.
But you're right. Yes.
So
yes,
it's like you figure they had Rahm, Rory, and Hovland. Like I don't know where Hovland was ranked, but down the stretch, he was probably one of the best golfers in the world.
Yep,
the
cleaning up.
last
And he
2-3
remained hot.
months.
That shot that he was on the apron, and everybody's like, why is he hitting wedge here? And he wedged it up the hill and holed it.
Yeah.
He's out of his mind. And he's so, oh, there I am. I'm giving thumbs up again. This is going to drive me crazy. So stupid. Just one more thing. I have no control.
I had to try to figure out, the only way I could figure out to do it was to take a screenshot of my phone.
Yeah.
So I went for a bike ride
Yeah.
Sunday morning I think I got up at 6:30. So I was on the bike trail and had it streaming on my phone as I was doing my 20 miles.
Perfect. Yeah.
But I'm like, I wish I could get a picture of this, but the only way is just taking a screenshot from my end. Like that doesn't really show that I'm on my bike watching it,
Yep. Yep. Well, we're gonna do this so we don't get yelled at by Adam. So hang on a second. Let me go find exactly what he wrote to us. We got hot takes from Adam.
Well, like I said, I've teased it the last 3 weeks, and we didn't say anything about it. So
here's his hot take. 3, by the way. And we also have to talk about our NBA insider who clearly works in my office, and I think he's here tonight. Can't be on the show, so I wanted to share some hot takes. Connecticut Sun, New York Liberty, Game 4 was one of the most exciting basketball games of the year. If you didn't watch it, go watch it. Incredible. Too bad the Sun lost. Hot take number 2, he wants to bench Mac Jones. And hot take number 3, Drew Holiday trade makes the C's the favorites to come out of the East. which I'm sure if you guys all to get together next week, I am not on next week. We'll be traveling with the family. You guys can yell about that. But there it is. So there, we got the WNBA, and I read everything he told me to say. If you put it on the teleprompter, he will repeat it. So I did that. Red Sox. I want to jump into that. What's the big? You were talking about the fact that they might bring in new blood, or they're going to bring in new blood for president of baseball operations. Do you think they Shohei Ohtani the money?
So
which is my favorite nickname until we sign him.
That has been a pretty good rumor going back like 3-4 weeks now. And the thing is, because apparently his money's going to come down because he's only going to DH next year because of his UCL tear. So he's going to have surgery on his elbow, not pitch next year, not play the field. He's strictly going to be a DH.
Okay.
So either he's going to sign a 1-year deal until he gets better, or he's not going to make $700 million like a lot of people thought. So where he's going to come in a little cheaper, maybe the Red Sox will do it. And then there's another Japanese player that's how they did with Yoshida last year, that you got a bid for him.
Yeah.
So I guess there's another guy that they could be in for also. And I heard rumors of a trade for Trout, which I don't know. Trout's phenomenal player, but he gets injured every year, so I don't know if I really want him.
Well, so back to Ohtani. He just DHs. His money comes down. Doesn't that open the door for more people to get in and make the bidding actually more difficult, even though it'd be less cost prohibitive?
I
gotta figure out this fucking thing.
If people are strictly looking for a DH, that's the thing. How many? I don't know a lot of teams that are willing to put that kind of price tag on someone to just DH for a season. The Red Sox could do it because they actually will need a DH, because Justin Turner was just signed to a 1-year contract, so he'll be gone. They don't have anyone. They have pretty much. I mean, they're still Adam Duvall will be gone also. They will need some pop in the lineup, and I mean they could be willing, especially where they have some young kids coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much for it to be a bridge. I hope next year is not a bridge year, because Casas was playing well. You got Devers in his prime right now. You need to start using him for what he is. It's going to be a totally different looking team next year, because a lot of the people they picked up for the bullpen's gone. Paxton's gone. Who knows what they do with Sale? Maybe, I know Alex Cora named him the starter for opening day next year already, which that's what I wanted to really talk about, where Alex Cora named that, and it seems like the front office has come out and put their stamp on him coming back next year, which leads me to believe that Eddie Romero Jr. may be the leader in the clubhouse for the job, because Cora is his guy.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking, if you bring someone in from the outside, unless Cora worked with him like in the Astros organization, that they're going to want to have their own coach, manager.
If you just said something that, like, I've been in therapy for this, and you just gave me the heebie-jeebies. You just said bridge year. Like, it's not allowed. It's like for them to get rid of, and it's not like it's groundbreaking. Like, oh my God, they really went on a limb. Like when we traded Noma, that felt like, what are they doing? That was them doing something that nobody understood at the time.
Yep.
Getting rid of our dear friend Heim that's not crazy. That's not crazy at all. Like, everybody saw that coming. The problem is, the challenge is, how do they do that? Claim that we're all in and we want a winning culture back, and they don't they can't do anything that leaves it short of we are all in and we're going for a championship. And again, this is not my drunken Vegas, because yes, we have to find a sexy middle. I'd like a sexy middle a little over the line where security comes up and tells you to quiet down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we can't, if anybody at Fenway uses a term between this conversation and the end of time that they work in, bridge year. Nope.
Right.
We just had, it feels like we just had 6 of those.
We
And
just
what
had
you
2,
said earlier about
yeah.
the Patriots. Well, what you just said earlier about the Patriots is the problem. We are the spoiled rich kids of sports.
Yeah.
We just went through 2 decades after what felt like 8 lifetimes of shittiness. And now, and what I thought would always protect us from this, because we talked about this even on the old show, Billy, you remember me saying this, like as soon as Kraft came in and started to move the needle, everyone in Boston's like fighting for, and this is going to sound old school, ask your grandparents, fighting for the cover of the sports page, the back of the Herald, is the cover of the sports page, if you don't know what I mean. I know you do. I'm talking to the listeners. That being said, I need them all fighting for it again. And I feel like everybody's almost backing off like, well, hold on. Like they're sort of getting what level of worse is acceptable right now? And last night, and we'll get there in a second, last night, we saw a whole new level of holy shit, what's going on at Foxborough. So Fenway, and I'm not saying Fenway's watching that and guiding their monetary decisions with that, but they're not allowed to say bridge year. I don't think anybody in our city's allowed to say bridge year anymore.
Baseball is the only sport that you shouldn't have to have a bridge year because you can spend and still develop.
Mm-hmm.
There's no cap. There's there's luxury taxes, but this market shouldn't have to worry about that. You should be able to go all in. Now, the Celtics, on the other hand, where they redid the CBA and there are going to be restrictions put on you based on what you spend, they have to be a little more careful going forward the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
But the Red Sox have no reason not to go all in for every player they want to put up on the major league team and still be able to bring guys in and develop them. That's where Heim, that's the biggest problem with Heim, is that he was afraid to make trades. He was kind of like how Danny Ainge started to get with, Marcus Smart and some of the players that he really liked and didn't want to get rid of. That's what Heim Bloom did. He brought in all these players, and actually some of them weren't even his. Some of them were like Casas is a Dombrowski draft pick. So he has guys, he just likes, it's almost like he's one of those guys like my dad would love the draft picks and the rookies. And it's like once they made it to the big club and were good, he's like, oh yeah, whatever. He did like Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts he loved, but it's almost like he falls in love with the prospects and is afraid to like you got to be willing, but that's where you got to be willing to trade those assets. And
yes,
the goal is to have your major league team win championships. Doesn't matter how good your prospects are,
right?
If it's not going to pan out. Teams like Tampa Bay, that's how they had to do it. They couldn't go out and sign, but they weren't afraid to make trades either. They would trade all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that Heim Bloom he wouldn't be all in and make the trade. Like it was, it came out that he had offers for Chris Sale last offseason and he wouldn't pull the trigger.
Well, and right back to summer of 2004, it's July 30th, July 31st. We're going on a road trip tomorrow. We were ironically on a road trip that week and somewhere in middle America. And
I know place where I was.
Yeah.
I heard that trade.
It was myself and Janina and Corey Smith and his fiance at the time, and we're driving and our phones hit. It was a Nextel at that point. I'm not ashamed to admit. And I'm like, what? Like we're hearing on the news and stuff like that. Like what? And who the hell's Orlando Cabrera? And the OC turned out to be, and it wasn't that. It was all these other moving parts too. But like that no matter how long we're pissed or how short we're pissed, because that was July, that was ultimately August 1st. And by October, like generational dreams were like realized. And I think as angry as we get, because I'm the first one, I hate watching us trade people away. And we'll talk about the Celtics in 2 seconds. Like, Time Lord's gone. I had to say that a few times slowly to myself. Like, I don't love that at all.
Yeah, I just got a jersey.
I just got his jersey. I was just at Modell's, goddammit.
The last game I went to with Tyler, it was in April. I'm pretty sure it was in April.
Yep.
And I bought a Williams jersey.
Yep. About that. So, guy down the hall that I talk to all the time comes in last week, and I shared this with you guys. He goes, "Hey, now that Dame has moved, I think this is happening. I think we're going to trade for Drew Holiday, and for Drew, we're going to send Brogdon." And I knew that would get Scotty Dukes worked up because Scotty loves Brogdon. The fact that happened, first of all, I have to ask him to give me the numbers for tonight for Powerball, because I'd like to not come back to work.
I gotta go buy mine.
Yes, $1 billion tonight at 11:30. And I know, before taxes, it'll be fine. And then it turns out Williams is part of it too, which I don't love. But talk to me, because again, I'm not an NBA insider. And you say his name, you try to say his name as clearly as possible, and it still sounds like Drew with a D. It's Drew Holiday, which I love. Like, I love the complexity of that. They're like, let's make sure he spends the rest of his life telling his teachers how to spell his name, right? Because
right.
when you say Drew, I'm saying J, it still sounds like Drew. Drew Holiday, is he a great mix of smart and who? Like, who else does he replace? And he can only be one person, but
he replaces Marcus and Brogdon in one person.
Really,
he's a in my mind, Scotty could disagree with me, but in my mind, I believe he's a better ball handler, better disperse. Disperse is better.
Yep.
And then he's a better shooter, also more consistent shooter. And he may not be as good as Marcus on the defensive end, but he's pretty damn close. So I think you definitely upgraded there. And you got rid of which my biggest thing is why I thought they should have got rid of Marcus a couple of years ago, is I think he was delaying the growth of the Jays, because this is my team. Even though he's not the best player, he was like, this is my team because he's been there the longest and he's the most outspoken person in the locker room. So I think getting rid of him helps.
And we added a J.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Purpose? Did they do that on purpose for marketing purposes? No.
I mean, this all had, when you said that last week, and I had heard like people say, "Oh, wouldn't it be nice if the Celtics could get Holiday?" I'm like, "There's no way they're gonna be able to do that." And then, even there was like the next day, I saw rumors, that they want to get rid of Brogdon for him. I'm like, why would Portland do that? It's because he could be damaged goods still, because he's coming off that injury that he never had surgery for. He just rested.
Yep.
So who knows? He could be a month into the season, have elbow problems again.
Yep.
But
have they cleared
Portland looks like they're rebuilding.
Are the physicals all cleared? Do we know that?
So I just looked on the roster. They have Drew Holiday on there wearing number 4.
All right.
So he hasn't had the press conference yet with him. So I don't know if they can pull, if Portland could say, whoa, wait a second right now. I don't know how official it is, but it seems pretty official.
Yep. Interesting.
I think my big worry is for losing Williams. I really liked him, but people put it in perspective. I put it on the Sports Talk Radio Sunday, soon as it was announced, and they made some good points. Robert Williams is nice, exciting to watch, but he he was only playing about 12 minutes. He averaged about 12 minutes a game in the playoffs. He's there for, to block some shots. He's not really a scorer, a couple alley-oops here and there.
Sure.
So you're really not missing a lot from him, but we we need bodies, because right now I just looked at the roster. We have a lot of guys that are between 6'5" and 6'8". We don't have many guys that are, big guys. We have Cornette, Porzingis, Horford. If Cornette's going to be your third big guy, I think we might be in trouble. They need to. I'm sure they're going to try and bring someone else in. They did sign one guy on a two-way contract. He played 4 or 5 games last year for Sacramento. He's like 7'2", but I mean, he played four games, and he's got a two-way contract. So that means he's probably going to be in Maine more than he's going to be in Boston.
Okay.
So that's my only worry, because Porzingis and Horford are older and they're injury prone usually.
Oh, is Horford older?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
I love him, but
they were resting him anyway.
Coming. Yeah, he's
going
to be
seasons, so
he's going to get all the load management. And what was that? I saw something in the last few weeks, and Ginny and I were talking about it because I said it's definitely become a thing because it's become a thing. The NBA is cracking down on load management. Yes. What is that going to look like? Yeah. What's the actual ruling around that?
Any player, I don't know it 100% off the top of my head, but it's something to do like this. If you have a player that was a all-star and something else, like an all-NBA or something like that.
Yep.
The last 3 years, any of those players you can't sit more than 2 of them in a night.
Okay.
Unless it's a legit injury.
Yep.
So they were showing. I think Golden State has the most players that fall under that. Them and the Phoenix Suns. They have like 5 or 6 players that fall under that umbrella. I think the Celtics at most have 2, well, maybe 3 now with Holiday. Holiday might fall in it because he's been an all-star. So Brown, Tatum, and actually Porzingis might too. They might have 4 guys that fall, so you can't rest those. I think it was 2, could be 1. It could be that you can only rest one of those guys a night. You can't rest 2 of them at the same time. Wasn't expecting that question.
It'll be on a quiz. It'll be a quiz next week. There'll be a quiz next week. We're gonna wrap with Wake. So I want to. Oh my God, there's the thing again. It just popped up again. This is unbelievable. My guess is now, because I feel like it's not happening to anybody else, and it obviously autoed on. My thought was it was Zoom. It's clearly not, because we're not on Zoom right now. This is eCam. I think it might be something to do with my my Logitech camera must be doing something.
Oh.
There's no other way to explain it because we're not on Zoom. I don't know. I'll get it fixed. I do want to talk about Wake. I want to wrap with him, though. So
we got to touch Patriots first, then.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to the Patriots. So you accused me of doing the long jinx on Seagon. Now, Gonzalez, stop. I didn't say injury. I want no one to get injured.
Oh, I know.
I don't want Vladimir Putin to get a hangnail. I want everyone to stay healthy. What I do want, that wasn't a political statement. I hope people got this.
You said he was going to be a bust before the season.
1,000% said he'd be a bust. So then that I meant healthy and horrible on the field. Because we never, capital N, never, do we grab when's the last time we had a first rounder who lit our world on fire?
Well, definitely not on the offensive side. It's probably, I bet there's Hightower might have been a first rounder.
Okay. And
I mean, it's definitely been a defensive player, most likely.
Yes. So that's where that was. And I just love annoying you guys because you guys are all Camp Gonzalez. So I hope he's okay. What's the word? Have we heard any reports from the?
So what I heard today, he has a dislocated shoulder.
Oh,
or he dislocated his shoulder.
They popped it back in the blue tent.
They're having an MRI to see how much more damage was done.
Ugh.
So he's out.
Fuck.
couple weeks at least, I'm guessing. And then Judon might be done for the year. He has a tear in his bicep.
That's so
They could
disturbing.
be in deep doo-doo going forward, because that was the strength of the team, was their defense. And if you lose
4,000%.
your two top players on defense.
And what I hate, and of course you're going to do it, it's the smart thing to do, is when your hot corner goes down, they throw at that position immediately, which is what
you got to be ready for it.
Well, yes.
Everyone in the world knew that was coming.
Yes. You have to wait to be smarter than that, which
And to
begs
put
the
that
question,
guy
what
on
the
an
hell are we doing?
island
Yep.
with CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, that was terrible. So, all right, this takes me in from a Belichick point of view.
You still in Bill We Trust?
I am. Yep, I'm going to die there. Yes, I'm going to die there. If the Judon injury is done for the year, which we suspect that's the case, we just don't have it. They haven't said that yet.
No, but that was what they were
most
talking
likely,
about
because last time
today.
who was the last person that had a torn bicep? Somebody just had that happen.
I remember Teddy Johnson tore both of them.
Yep. Okay. So okay, so if that's a thing and he's out and he's been awesome, and then above and beyond that, Gonzalez is an extended vacation. Does that give a stay of execution to anybody on the sideline? Does that give him one more year? Because, well, everybody wasn't healthy.
So you're saying that they have an excuse year now?
Yeah, we have a bridge year. We love bridge years. Yeah. Even though we ironically got rid of the bridge at Gillette, that's gone. But they moved it to the sideline. I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud.
I know one of my text groups on Sunday.
Yep.
Everyone in that text group is calling for Belichick to be gone.
Be gone.
Yeah.
It's so heartbreaking to see
this. There are a lot of people that are done with him.
Well, what
he's done with the offense. Because just look at what so they were talking about this on the radio today. You look at Mac Jones' rookie year. He was decent. He wasn't. I mean, he did make the Pro Bowl by default because he was, the 20 people above him decided not to go.
Yes. I couldn't make it.
But he was a decent quarterback that year. Belichick totally screwed him last year by having the two buffoons coach the offense. And then he hasn't given him any weapons. He keeps bringing, more stuff in on the defense. He lets Jacoby Myers go. He brings in a broke down Juju Schuster.
He's been awful.
And it's
awful.
So the stuff that's floating around, I don't know if you heard any of the clips from Colin Cowherd
today. No,
from the Herd.
No.
Well, Friday he dropped something saying that he's hearing things about Mac Jones, and that's all he would say. And then today he came out and said that he's hearing that he's losing the locker room, like he's not getting support by the other players, and other things are coming out saying that he's had it with Belichick, that Belichick totally screwed him with his development and he just wants out. So he's like trying not to play well just so they won't pick up his, his fifth year or fourth year.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was fourth, right? Yeah.
So he has an option for next year that they would have to pick up. So, and he may be looking like, you know what, you guys have done nothing but screw me. I want out of here.
Yeah, if you look at it on paper, he's got evidence. I don't know if he's got a point, but he's got evidence. And the sad thing is, brought in some weapons, even though Juju's been a bag of meat.
They brought in secondary guys,
No, I know, but you got Billy O'Brien, so you got the OC.
Yeah.
You got a legit OC, and you could also, people are going to point to the offensive line. He's making some of those passes he's running for his life.
Oh,
but that's not consistent. It's not every snap he's running for his life. There's certain protections that they're not ready for.
Yeah.
The defense or whatever. I'm wondering if these injuries are going to create a stay. But I think coming off of, which is really funny, I heard people saying this like last night after the game, which which is sad. That's a thing that I usually want to stay locked and loaded. And we were on it. I didn't go back to red zone or anything. We were on the game the whole time. But like
Yeah,
the wife and I are
I'm
talking, and I look.
100% on red zone now this year. I have Patriots on the iPad.
Yeah, I think. Well, where I'll be traveling. Well, actually, we're going to be at the golf tournament next week on Sunday. So what's next Sunday is home or away?
Home against the Saints.
So which you would argue should be a winnable game, but I think what are we favored by a point or something like that? Or 1.5 or something like that. Some ridiculous spread.
So the Saints, even though they got kind of lit up this weekend against the Buccaneers.
Yep.
And Carr did play, but I think he still might be a little hurt.
Yep.
So who knows? You may end up getting Jameis Winston.
Yep.
Jameis Winston.
Yep.
But the Saints defense is pretty good. It could be that, just like that Jets game. It could be 15-10. Patriots may squeak it out. That type of game.
Is that 1 o'clock or 4?
Don't know.
It's a terrible game. It should be early.
Yeah.
Which was really surprising. Actually, was it last week? I was surprised that last week and I think it was ultimately because it was the Jets. We get the A-team on CBS last week.
Yeah, because they did everything predicting Rodgers this year.
Yeah,
I mean, they were on Sunday Night Football last night, which actually the Jets, Zach Wilson played pretty good last night. Yeah. Saints Patriots 1 o'clock.
It is 1 o'clock. Okay. Yeah, that'll be interesting moving forward. It's disappointing. I didn't realize that statistically, and because you feel like 38-3 isn't that bad. It is. Don't get me wrong, but that is
his worst loss.
His worst loss statistically across the board in like almost every category ever. And at some point, like Bob's got to be like, okay, this is not a thing anymore. This, which I can't even believe. And if we tough it out with him, I'd give him all the grace before I would give anybody else the grace. Because I feel like he's been a part of so much, he's earned the right to figure it out. I don't know.
So you figure, besides the year that they almost went undefeated, when they brought in Moss and they had Welker, and that was the one year they really went all in.
Yep.
They really, other than having Gronk, which they drafted, they haven't had elite wide receivers. Edelman became, because he was a hard worker. Same with Troy Brown, but those weren't elite wide receivers. And you look at what Miami's done with Tua. They brought in Tyreek Hill. They drafted Jalen Waddle.
Yep.
And they actually put in parts around him, and we're picking up their scraps. We get Devontae Parker. He seems to be washed up. Gesicki isn't doing what he was doing with Miami last year.
Right. Juju finally got a ball, hit him in the chest, and he dropped it.
Yeah. With Brady, you could nickel and dime on the offense to build up your defense with better players, which is what he did his whole, basically his whole career. He's a defensive coach. So he's always put stuff on the defense over the offense. But when you have the greatest quarterback of all time, greatest football player of all time, you can do that. You can nickel and dime on the offense to help you on in other places. You can't do that with every quarterback. You could actually look at Mahomes right now. They've been doing that. They've been letting every receiver leave Kansas City the last 3 years, and it's finally catching up with them. All they have is Kelsey right now.
Yep.
And Mahomes is paying for it right now.
Who's
he doesn't look like
Taylor's boyfriend. Yeah, I got to keep going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Honest to God. I was talking to the wife about this because she's so done with it. Like
See,
my wife, Janina's all in.
Out.
She's like eye black and a Kodiak in her between her cheek and gums. She's so annoyed with it because it's just because I'm sitting next to her TikToking, and she's like, every other video was the security footage of her walking into the Jets game.
Yep.
Now here's the thing. Am I a Swiftie? No. Do I think Taylor's like remarkably talented? If you got me a protected seat in a suite, would I go to one of her shows? 4,000%. Love Taylor. Think she has great music. Think she's super talented. The problem, the concern is, and the reason guys are getting too upset, and I shouldn't say guys, football fans are getting upset because their partners and spouses are telling them that Taylor put him on the map. And as you and I both know, and I can say this to you because I know you're wired like me, you and I knew who Travis was. And we also knew who Taylor was. And I'm not completely annoyed that it's a story because we don't have to watch it all the time. Like it's going to be for a while until somebody breaks up or whatever. Who knows? Maybe the kids get married. God bless them. And she's 5'11", so good for him. He'll have tall kids. So in the grand scheme of things, I think people are getting worked up because a lot of people at home are like, honey, do you realize that she put him on the map? Like, because the people that are coming to football because of Taylor, which is also good for the NFL, are telling, their spouses and partners that, nobody knew who Kelsey was before. It's like, no, everybody knew. Everybody knew. He's uber talented. It has been really
We were
funny,
watching
though.
a wrestling pay-per-view last night, so we didn't see the Sunday night game. So we
What
didn't
was
have
on
to.
last night? What happened?
It was which one? AEW. Was it
AEW.
All Elite Wrestling.
Of course it is.
It was.
How much was this
what did they
pay-per-view?
$49.99 plus
But you
taxes
won't
and
spend
fees.
$18 on a turkey leg.
Well, this is $49.99 for the whole family to enjoy. The turkey leg was just for me.
I've seen the turkey leg. It was big enough the whole family could have enjoyed.
Yeah. Well, no one else will eat it.
I appreciate
that.
Yes.
Although Steph did take a bite and she said it was really good, but she would.
I can only
that was
imagine.
About it.
It must have been great. Before we get on our way, I do want to ask you your most memorable, because mine is going to feel counterintuitive, but I'm going to stick with it because it's my burning image of him. Your favorite Wake moment.
I don't
Mine's
know
going to
if
make
I
no
can.
sense, which everyone should be like, of course, it makes no sense.
I mean, that's my feel-good moment with him is him getting a second chance in 04, where he gave up the home run against Boone.
That's my favorite moment.
That's your favorite?
That's my favorite Wake moment because
it's
of
probably
what
the
you
one
just
I
said.
remember the most. Definitely
because of what you just said. Boone hitting that shot. Boone, who had no business hitting that shot. Hitting that shot, and Wake hands to his knees. Like you're
gonna make me cry.
Yeah, hands to his knees. He symbolized. It was like watching. It was. Am I losing my mind? I am losing my mind. It was. Was it? It was Yaz out and left. It was Yaz out and left when Bucky effing Dent, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And Yaz runs to the wall and hunches over.
Yeah.
And it was like years later, we were kids and now we're adults watching it happen. And you're like, oh my God, Aaron Boone. Another who? Aaron effing Boone, all of it. And the way he hunched over the same way, and he didn't do it like, oh, I have to hunch over like Yaz. It was just the emotions of an entire generation pouring out on the mound. Like, are you kidding me? And then for him
to have it
next
to
year,
the nicest guy in the organization ever.
So awesome. He was. I loved him when he would jump into the booth. He was great. He was great with TC when he would do the pregame stuff.
Yep.
And Janina, I know she threw the picture up. Janina, it was spring, and Janina's like, hey, there's and I forget what it was called. Doesn't matter. That golf event we went to in June, and we went up to that golf event, and she was going through the list of people. She's like, your future ex-husband Doug Flutie's going to be there. Wake's going to be there, and I'm like, yep. So we got tickets. We went, and it was so cool because it was so chill, up in Maine at the Falmouth Country Club, and
oh nice.
And it was gorgeous, and it was so low key. You were right up against the rope. They're coming up, and I mean the list of people, I can't even tell you the number of athletes that we saw. Was so cool. But to see him and think that was June 24th, and he was golfing and taking pictures with fans, and he was of perfect health. And brain cancer sweeps in, and then the way it unfolded, because Cheryl's active in the chat during the day. So Cheryl sent me a text last week. Was it Friday? Cheryl sent me a text, and all she sent was shilling with a thumb down. And I had no context around this. And I didn't realize that, I guess, on his podcast, he unloaded the news. And that caused a shitstorm. And then 48 hours later.
And he said, before he said it, he's like, I don't even think he wants to have this out there, but I'm going to say it anyway, is almost a direct quote that I heard that he said, how he said it. And so this being trying to be a good memory for Wakefield, but so initially I wasn't going to bring that up, but since you did, it's like, I guess Catherine Veritek direct messaged him and basically called him a fucking asshole.
Really?
Yep. And nobody is on his side.
Yep.
Maybe his wife, that might be it.
Yep.
But
no,
he
burnt the bridges.
Not welcomed in Red Sox Nation anymore.
No. He talk about lighting yourself on fire.
Oh
terrible.
My God.
Terrible.
To do that just think of how bad he must have been at Friday or Thursday when
they
Wakefield
were at that point. They're calling the family to be with him. Yes.
Yeah, and they had to deal with this for the last 2 days of his life.
Yep.
Not even like when I got that thing come across saying that he passed away yesterday, I was like, are you effing kidding me? So the family had to deal with this for the last 2 days because of shilling. That even makes it so much worse than what it originally was.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Like I was expecting, within the next year or something, and where.
Yep.
And the thing is that so he has the brain cancer, and then it's
believed his wife
has pancreatic cancer.
Yep.
Can you turn the light on, please? I think I'm getting dark in here.
Did it get? Oh, and we're back. Yep. Yeah, that was not great. Super sad. But as painful as that moment was, that's my favorite moment because he embodied everyone in New England. Like as soon as he looked over his shoulder, I can't remember perfectly, but he hand to knees on the mound. Like, are you kidding me? And Aaron Boone, I mean, just ridiculous. Now, my funniest Wakefield moment, we're sitting in right field, and it was, everybody and their mother has probably sat in seats that this happened to you. We're sitting in right field. We're behind a pole that was in perfect line with the rubber. So all you could see was the ball butterflying out from behind the pole because Wake was pitching.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a joke. Like you could not see, if you leaned, you could see Wake. But like you had to just watch. And it was the green pole and the ball would fly out. Yep.
In-person games, I think I've seen the majority of Wakefield's worst games.
Yeah.
I know we went to one against the Rangers, and it was like, I think he gave up like 10 home runs. It felt like, because you never know. He could be so on or he could be off, and the balls are just flying out. And it seems like every time we went and he was pitching, it was not a good day for Wakefield.
Yeah. Well, and the coolest thing about him was because of his style and because his arm wasn't getting smoked, he would always be ready if you needed him, right? And there's a great video that's been all over the place. It's Timlin and Wake after they win in 04. And Timlin is just giving him his flowers, and he starts crying, and oh fuck, I'm not gonna cry. It's terrible. The amount of jerseys they're gonna sell. Yep. And if Fenway's listening, if Count Chocula, I want to call him Count, I'm gonna do it. If Count Palula, there, I'll say that so it doesn't sound that bad. If John Henry's listening, every Wakefield shirt that you sell on your property for the rest of forever
goes to the Jimmy Fund.
1,000%.
Yep.
1,000%.
I thought about that today also.
1,000%. Any Remy shirt, like just start racking them up because Remy's gone. Yep. It got him, and obviously a fight that Wake couldn't put up a fight because it. Yeah. And if his wife is battling pancreatic cancer, I fear she's going to be right behind him because people typically have a doctor's appointment and then it comes real quick. Which is horrifying.
Like, those are the two worst ones: the brain and the pancreatic.
Yep. Unbelievable.
Because
Hate
that's
to
the
leave.
thing. Usually, the brain, by the time you even know you have something, it's too late
Yep.
because it's not one of those cancers that people get regularly scanned for. They don't do brain scans, every year to see if anything's in there.
Yeah.
It's just all of a sudden you go blind or you get dizzy and can't function,
Yep.
and then they go in and like, oh yeah, you got something, and basically it's too late at that point.
I'm probably overthinking it, and they're probably on the road, and I don't know when the schedule hits. You probably know because you're a dork. Whenever the schedule comes out next year, if game 49 is at home, everyone on the Red Sox should have Wake, just Wake on the back of their shirt, right? They should all wear 49,
Yep.
and they should all have just Wake on the back of their shirt. That's what they should do.
Yep. But that might
Sound
there might
bad
be
because,
rules
yes,
against that,
sure. You know what? Honestly, really, John Henry, if you
I
get
mean, they do the Jackie Robinson Day where everyone wears number
Yep.
42,
Yep.
but that's the whole league. I don't know if that would be awesome.
Well, at the very least, there's going to be obviously a patch.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be a patch, and his number's going up. His number's going up immediately. Immediately.
Let's see if I can figure out where game 49 is.
Me and
Of
my
course they
stupid
don't.
marketing.
They don't make it easy.
No, of course they don't. Of course they don't. Carry the 4, divide by 3, 16, 19, 38. What do we got? Are we at home? Say we're at home. Say we're at home. Do it. Do it. Do it. And you make it a 4:09 start if it's a Saturday. I love that you're diligently counting. I'll shut up while you count. What is it?
It looks like it's on the road.
Oh, terrible. Terrible.
It's
Well, they're clearly going to do something because he deserves all of it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
One of the most beloved Red Sox of all time. Horrifying news. And Kurt
and
Schilling,
he did a lot of behind the scenes stuff with the Jimmy
Yep.
Fund.
Yep.
He's one of those guys that whoever was the guy before him that was the ambassador for the Jimmy Fund, he took it over for him. So he's been
Mhm.
for 20 years, over 20 years probably with the Jimmy Fund. And it's like someone that was devoted to doing that, and then that's what gets them, and how it happened.
Right.
It's just so painful.
It is. I don't love hanging up our hats on that, but that's where we're going to leave it for this week.
No, we could go out with a moment of silence.
Well, we could fade to black, but I feel like I'm gonna make a hand gesture, and then the balloons are gonna loft up for some unforeseen reason. For Rubber Shoes, for Scotty, for Adam, and for our friends at AAA Work Trucks, we will see you in and around the internet. You can grab the Rubber Shoes wrap up and rant, which I'm sure he'll be complaining more about everything Boston sports until the Bruins start skating, because they are a saving grace. And in honor of the great Tim Wakefield. Have a great week.